spend my prep day with me for my honesty stand. I'm only open one day a week on a Saturday, so Fridays are set aside just for prep. I always start with my butter because I can just leave that churning while I get on with other things. This was the view out the window, and I have to say that was like the best thing that could happen, was that the weather was rubbish, because it really made me think, well, I don't have to rush, I'm not going to be that busy, people aren't going to come out if the weather's rubbish. So I just put much less pressure on myself, and I had a much nicer time because of it, even though I actually ended up being busier than I've ever been before. I was making the dough for my brown butter chocolate chip cookies. I took a gamble and made the biggest batch of these I've ever made, but I know if I had any left, they would definitely not be going to waste. I'm going through vanilla extract like it is water. So if anyone has any good advice of big bottles of vanilla extract that is good quality, please let me know. I use a mixture of chocolate chips and chocolate chunks in my cookie recipe, and the chocolates just runs all through the cookie. They are chock full of it, no pun intended. And once they are balled up and ready to be put in the fridge, I also stick a few more chocolate chips on the top, just because I feel like when you look at them like this, they don't look like they have much chocolate in them, so they need some sticking on there. And they do look way more aesthetically pleasing with those chocolate chips on top. They're all also individually weighed, so they're all the same weight and hopefully come out of the oven the same size. And once these are all prepped, they go in the fridge for a while to firm up so that they retain their shape when they get baked. By this point, the butter had worked its magic and was ready to be processed. I have to get all the buttermilk out of the butter, and you just do this by squeezing the life out of it and then washing it in some water. The more buttermilk you get out of it, the longer its shelf life. Next up, I decorated some gingerbread men that I made. These were very cute. This was a fun job. I only made a handful of these because I thought, I didn't know how they were going to go down, but we actually sold all of them. So it's definitely something I will probably do again, and I did a different design on every single one, so they all had their own little characteristics, and I thought the end result was very cute. I had some spare vanilla sponge, and I hate to waste anything, so I made up some cake jars with that, and I used fresh strawberries. I made 2 different colour buttercreams, and it had a few sprinkles in there as well, and some icing on the top. Cake jars are always popular. I've never been left with any at the end of the day, and also they're just a great way to use up any excess sponge so that nothing gets wasted. The jars obviously do cost me, but I do now have a jar return system in the stand. I have a basket where if you return your jars, you take 50p off your next purchase, so hopefully I'll be getting some jars back soon instead of constantly buying new ones. By this point, it was cookie baking time, and while they were in the oven, I got on with some labelling and some packaging. This is all very new to me, and I'm kind of winging it. I'm learning as I go. I've been busier than I ever expected I would be, and I do feel like I've been thrown in the deep end all at once. But I think already my processes, my time management is getting much better. Of course, we have to have some quality control.